Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I'm showered and have a hair mask in, so that's why my hair looks kind of weird. And Leo's right here. I'll show you. And he's been kind of good. We'll see if he holds it together or if we throw this takeaway and Steven has to come get him. Today we have Hebrews, the first part of Hebrews 9. This week has been so fantastic for me already, and we're only 2 days in. Between the Psalms and the Hebrews, I don't know, this is, some of different people are struck by things in different ways. This has been a week that has been really seemed like it's heavy on God speaking directly to me in some of these words in Hebrews especially. So Leo seems like he's being decently quiet to hear me say his name though. So let's go ahead and read Hebrews 9, 1 through 15. The worship of the first covenant. Now even the first covenant had regulations for worship and an earthly sanctuary. For a tabernacle was constructed, the outer one, in which were the lampstand, the table, and the bread of offering. This is called the holy place. Behind the second veil was the tabernacle called the Holy of Holies, in which were the gold altar of incense and the ark of the covenant covered entirely in gold. In it were the gold jar containing the manna, the staff of Aaron that had sprouted, and the tablets of the covenant. Above it were the cherubim of glory overshadowing the place of expiation. Now is not the time to speak of these in detail. With these arrangements for worship, the priests, in performing their service, go into the outer tabernacle repeatedly, but the high priest alone goes into the inner one once a year, not without blood that he offers for himself and for the sins of the people. In this way, the Holy Spirit shows that the way into the sanctuary had not yet been revealed, while the outer tabernacle still had its place. This is a symbol of the present time, in which gifts and sacrifices are offered that cannot perfect the worshiper in conscience, but only in matters of food and drink and various ritual washings, regulations concerning the flesh imposed until the time of the new order. But when Christ came as high priest of the good things that have come to be, passing through the greater and more perfect tabernacle not made by hands, that is, not belonging to this creation, he entered once for all into the sanctuary, not with the blood of goats and calves, but with his own blood, thus obtaining eternal redemption. For if the blood of goats and bulls and the sprinkling of a heifer's ashes can sanctify those who are defiled so that their flesh is cleansed, how much more will the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself unblemished to God, cleanse our consciences from the dead works to worship the living God? For this reason, he is the mediator of a new covenant, since a death has taken place for deliverance from transgressions under the first covenant. Those who are called may receive the promised eternal inheritance. He's being loud, isn't he? Wow. This is, I don't always remember that this is here. I didn't remember that this was in Hebrews, this interesting detailed description of what worship under the old covenant was like. He kind of says we're not going into this in detail, right? But he still takes you through all the steps of all the different things that have to happen, all the different places you have to be, all the different people that are involved. Just kind of, I think just emphasizing how much work that was, how involved that had to be, how many people and how costly that was. And then he even says, and that only cleanses you from the flesh. It can only get rid of some of the flesh guilt. It can't cleanse your spirit the way Jesus' sacrifice can. This kind of juxtaposition there should remind us of the power that we have as Christians, that we're now not only under the new covenant, we're now not only worshipers, we are sons of God. We are one with Christ in that we get to be, remember what it said at the beginning of Hebrews, how important we are, how important we humans are. The fellowship that we have with Christ is important and it's marvelous and it's wonderful, and we have that line to God whenever we want it, anytime. It doesn't matter if we're feeling burdened and we don't have the words, is what the devotional writer says. If we feel like we don't have the words, it doesn't matter. He's still listening. If we feel like we've sinned and and we don't deserve to come before God, it doesn't matter. He's listening. He's always listening to us. I listened to a really good podcast episode by Blessed Is She several months ago that was talking about the eye of God, which comes up in the Psalms very often, but that God's gaze, God's attention is always on you and on me. We never have to worry about the right time or the right place or being the right person or having the right ability to get his attention or to wait for his attention or wait for the perfect time or the perfect location or anything like that. We have God's attention 100% of the time. His gaze is on us and he's gazing on us with love. This podcast episode kind of talked about how attention shows appreciation and it shows love, and it's a gift, and it's a gift, but it's also God wanting to give to us, that the gift of his attention is on us, that we never have to wait for him and we never have to wonder if he's here before we pray to him. And at the same time, it's him wanting us to speak with him. It's him wanting to listen to us. And so this reading kind of reminds us of the amazing place that we have in the new tabernacle because of Christ who has gone before us into the Holy of Holies. We're able to be with God, and we're able to enter that and to be the worshipers and also the sons. We can go to him at any time for any reason with anything, and that's such a privilege, and that's what we have to remember, and that's what we have to live in. And I pray that you are really reminded of that today and this week.